How's it, everyone? Welcome back. This is the Mac Coast to Coast Show. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you know when we go live. Here's your host, Brian McLemara.
Hey, babies. It's another glorious day in the world. This is your host, B-Max, the host with the most. And I'm here with my cousins from across the coasts. We got Razzle.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Thanksgiving. Welcome to the show.
And T-Mac.
Right on, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Happy Thanksgiving to all my friends and family. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it.
That's right, guys. It's Thanksgiving. Have you guys gotten your turkeys stuffed yet?
Stuff. I stuffed my turkey.
I'm still marinating mine.
Unbelievable. So let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsors real quick. Brotherhood 808, we're your friends or your chosen family. And are you ready to brand your business so you can keep the lights on? Then you better give the guys at Brand Ready Media a call. They can help you out. So it's going to be another fantastic episode. We got a great guest for you tonight. Our guest for today is Surfline coastal surf reporter Anthony Spinksy, coming to you live from the Sunshine Coast, Queensland, Australia. Anthony, welcome to the show.
Welcome, brother.
G'day.
Yeah, right on.
G'day, man. G'day.
Thanks.
So what's going on out there?
Oh, wow, home. A little bit of a wet and windy day today compared to yesterday's belter. We're heading into summer, so it's getting rather hot and humid. Not as humid as what it gets in Florida. I've experienced that. It's but still, it's very warm. It's great weather, and it's good to be alive. Another day.
Yes, sir.
You got that right. It's getting cold here. I got a dog, so I got to walk the dog every morning, regardless. She's like a merciless taskmaster. She doesn't care that it's cold. She doesn't care that I just woke up. It's like time to go.
So you're DC, right?
Yeah, I'm in DC, right outside.
Yeah, well, I was there in a winter storm. I was actually praying for it for months and months before I went in February 2019, and I was watching all the weather. I bought some warm weather gear, and lo and behold, this storm front come in late February, and the whole DC shut down. I was just walking around the whole town all by myself. It was just awesome, and the geese digging in through the snow to get to this grass, and I had a White House tour, but they canceled it because of the inclement weather, and I couldn't do it the following, not the next day, the following day, because I was flying back down to Florida to Sean and that. But I love that town. That's so cool, that place. So much history. You spend months in those museums.
Oh yeah. So much great stuff to do there.
Oh, yeah.
I've lived here my whole life, and I don't think I've been to all of the museums. I've been to like the big ones, but there's still ones that I'm like, what's that? Haven't seen that one, so.
Yeah.
Right.
I even was the Capitol building. I went in there, did the tour, and I was sitting all by myself besides the copper behind me, in where they do the State of the Union.
Awesome.
And just taking that in and thinking, wow, there's a lot of shit that's going down in this place.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. I love that town. I'm definitely going back again. Yeah, for sure.
I know I say this every time, but if you go, you got to go check out the Exorcist stairs. I get a commission every time somebody goes down there and looks at it.
I think you do, man. Are you working for them on the sides?
Any spinning heads?
Let's see if we can put it on every podcast. Hey, Spinksy. Can I call you Spinksy, or is that what you like to go by? All right. Yeah. Hey, I was just wondering, I've always wanted to go to Australia. I love the people when I lived in Hawaii that came up there. It seemed like such jovial people and, just always ready for a good time kind of deal. And I was just wondering, how do you guys feel about all the craziness happening over here right now? I mean, I just wanted to kind of like outside perspective on the whole situation. What you think?
Okay, what crazy? Because there's a lot of crazy right now.
Well, tell us.
What do you want me to emphasize?
Tell us what everybody else thinks is crazy about us.
Yeah, well, look, it's. I think the media hype it up to be a lot crazier than what it is most of the time. Being there myself, look, there's still a lot of anger, and it's going back so long. And get over it.
Right.
It's time to just embrace each other. All this. Look, I understand, respect all this BLM and so forth, but I think all this PC culture, the cancer culture, all that is just gone too extreme.
I agree.
I do too. I think it's
it's radical. Politics over there, well, it's always been fun to watch, and you've only really got two main parties. So it's either this guy, that guy, and you don't have to vote if you don't want to. There's no mandatory voting system where here in Australia, as soon as you turn 18, you need to vote. If you don't vote, you get fined.
Oh,
Really?
Wow. Never knew that.
Yeah.
So what do you guys have, like a prime minister? I'm sorry, I'm ignorant on the whole situation, but
yeah, so we have a parliamentary system, it's a style of government similar to Great Britain, and so we have our prime minister, and he will be the head of a particular party. Right now it's the Liberal National Coalition Party, and the other main party is the Labor Party, which is very similar to your Democratic Party.
okay.
Liberal Nationals are more swing centre to the right, like your Republicans, and then we have the Greens, which are normally have a few guys or girls in the Senate, and then you have your independents as well. But here we also have preferential voting system. So when you vote, it's not like vote one for that guy or girl. You have preferences, so you'd be 1 down to how many's on the ticket down to 5, and some of those underneath will have, when it comes to preferred voting, some of those votes will go to that main Labor or Liberal National, whoever's sort of worked together, if you know what I mean. So so you could vote Green. And as number 1, but obviously they don't have that many votes, but that preference of yours will go to whoever's would be most likely the Labor Party.
Oh, so the winner can actually see where a lot
I'm not
of people
into that. I'd like to vote for that guy, and that's my vote, not for the others, And then not like you guys, you have, as soon as they're president, they're already out campaigning.
Right. For the next one.
For the Senate, which is 2 years later, and the House, or whatever it is you do, and then you're campaigning again to become president again for the second term.
Right.
It's just full on. You guys, it's just never stop. Your cycle just is never ending. And with all that fighting and racism and basically all that stuff that's to the rioting and stuff like that, it just, to me, it gets a little bit out of hand. And I think some of the other guys on the other party they don't turn a blind eye to it, but they're not necessarily condemning it in a harsh way like your president right now, Trump, has done. He's good and he's bad, and I guess all presidents and leaders of all countries are the same, and I won't get too much into the politics. I know who I favour, and I just hope that your country moves on and continues to build and again embrace and share the love with each other. We're human beings, we all live on this planet, and we all have to come together and unite, and we all have our indifferences and opinions, and that's great, but we need to respect each other's opinion and differences, because if we're all going to be the same, the place is going to be as boring as batshit.
Amen.
Right.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree, man.
So
I'm over it. I'm ready to move on, man. They made the election.
cool.
Let's go.
Let's
Let's move.
Yeah, let's all be together, man. We're the ones that make America America. The regular people, we're the ones that make people want to come visit and hang out here because they want to hang out with us. The regular people. So I agree with you 100, man. And not to change the subject, but I just kind of heard that you were telling me that you did the surf report for a radio station, and I was kind of interested in, for our viewers to hear what you do and tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it all started. I owned a convenience store on the beach with my wife Emma, and because we were right across the beach, that was pretty much my office. I'd have the boards stacked in the storeroom with all the stock, and I'd hire staff when I knew the surf was good. And I, in fact, didn't hire staff that would surf because they'd probably call in and want to go surfing. Yeah, that's me and Sean at Daytona 500 last 2019. That's La Quinta in Cocoa Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So what we did is I used to go over and just do little films on the YouTube on the old, starting off on an iPhone 4, and started building up a reputation from there, built my name, and being a local on the coast, so obviously got that local following. Started out with radio, and then from there, and which I still do today 3 times a day on a local station, another station once in the morning, and then it went to Coastal Watch. They were looking for a regional surf reporter for here, so I'd been doing that for 2.5 years. Surfline have last year or earlier this year bought out Coastal Watch, and so I now contract for them for the region, and so I do that every morning, 7 days a week, and get some sponsors on there and sell some advertising online for Surfline. People sponsor my surf report, so that's how I earn a little bit of money. But basically, I just do it for the love. I'm up every day early. I love surfing. I love looking at the conditions. I love surfing and letting people know the best place, but not always the secret spots. You got to keep some things.
You got to keep those on the down low.
Yeah, you still got to make them. It's still great to just pack the car and find that secret spot all to yourself with no one out, so you just talk about the main breaks and everyone else really works it out from there.
So, hey, not to put you on the spot, can you do a little sample, pretend it's like, smaller, glassy, whatever?
Give us a report real quick. Let's hear it.
Okay, so just off the bat here, we'll just make something up. It's not looking that great out there this morning, surfers. We've got that southeasterly swell that's starting to fill in, but it's hampered by southeasterly winds, and they're fresh now at 15 knots. So it is making for wind-affected surf right across the open beaches. Surf is only around waist to shoulder high and smaller in those sheltered southern corners where you're going to get that cleaner wave, but again, hindered with that early high tide we had about an hour ago. So the waves are a little bit full, and they'll start to shape up as that tide starts to recede. Throughout the day, we're going to have those strengthening southeasterly winds continue, so don't get too excited with anything happening in the forecast other than choppy surf and smaller, cleaner surf with a high volume board needed in those southern corners. If you're keen for a swim, Mooloolaba and Noosa's Patrol Beach is looking the best, nice and sheltered out of the southeasterly winds. As always, swim only on those protected patrol beaches where the lifeguards are, and that is the latest from the beach with Spinksy, and I'll catch you again tomorrow live on the beach with Spinksy.
Nice.
That was awesome.
Sweet. Right on, brother.
It's almost like you do it for a living.
It's going to go off.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
You need to say
and when you do the report, of Australia, like, are you doing the whole country? Are you doing your side, or how does that work? Like, you have other guys checking the other side and giving you the reports, or how's that work?
There's reporters all over the country. I look after the Sunshine Coast, so that's a good 60-kilometre stretch of beach with quite a few camps. So from Caloundra up to Noosa Heads, I look after all of that region. But on a Monday, I do fill in for the Margaret River and the Perth beaches and a beach in South Australia, Seaford. Other than that, the other guys basically look after. It'd be a big job to do that all. In fact, one of the guys that I talked to, who's the main forecaster for Surfline for the world, is Jonathan Warren, and he's from down in Florida, just south of Satellite Beach. I can't remember what place it is, but he's from there. Yeah.
Wabasso or Stewart or somewhere down there.
Yeah, something like that. To get to his beach, he has to, because obviously in Florida you got all these little rivers and that to get to the little land thing. So he has a little gets in his boat and just goes through the inlets and then rocks up to the mangroves and walks over through the sand dune, and then that's his beach. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and you said you had been here. I'm in Hawaii now, but I'm from Florida. But you said you went to Florida and you hung out with Sean Slater. We had him on the show last week. That was an awesome show. You said you're good friends with him. That's how we hooked up. But I wanted to hear about your trip to Florida. You said you went up to like Daytona Beach and you went to the Cape Canaveral and you did all kind of cool stuff. I wanted to hear about your trip to Florida.
Yeah, we've done it a couple of times. My wife and I in 2017 in August, so just coming out of the end of your summer, so it was really hot. We just hung out there for a week in Cocoa Beach. We drove down to Miami. My wife and I caught a preseason NFL game with the Dolphins, and I think it was the Saints. I can't remember. It might have been there.
Tua Tagovailoa.
No, it was Atlanta Falcons. It was the Falcons. That's right. And the Dolphins got up. I'm not a Dolphins fan, but I go for the Bucks. But
all right.
And they bloody lost against the Rams.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's
okay,
I was upset.
So, yeah, we hung out with them. I met a bunch of Sean's mates. They're so cool. One works with who's that? What did you say? Justin Debris works for, I think it's Atco. It's some fishing brand. I'm not sure if that's the name off by hand. Yeah. So we're there. That was pretty cool. Did some fly fishing there. And then my wife and I, we basically did a tour of America that time. We went up to New York, Las Vegas, and then I surprised her with a Grand Canyon helicopter ride down there. And we drove. Awesome. Yeah, we drove from Las Vegas to Venice and then up the coast to San Francisco. Rode push bikes over the bridge, San Francisco, Alcatraz, all the touristy great stuff that you do. But the second trip I went on my own, and I actually went there purposely to go to the Daytona Hunt 500 with Sean and a bunch of his mates, Todd Holland and Lauren, and they go every year religiously. So they have their little section where they camp on the turn 3 where all the accidents happen, which is the best part of watching it. And then another guy, Corey Lopez, he hooked me up with a VIP pass. And the hot pass, which all those guys had, so that enabled you to get in amongst the action right there, then on race day behind the pits, and they're fueling the cars. The only thing you weren't doing was actually physically driving the car. And wow, we walked on the track, and I didn't realize the bank on it was just 45 pretty much on the home straight. And 4 days and camping there, and met some very interesting characters. It was great. And then Sean he's up till 4 o'clock in the morning, keep talking, and you gotta shut up, I'm in my tent. So I had to buy a tent suit when I got there from Walmart, an air mattress, and met another girl, Jennifer Patel. She works for NASA, and she's been sending up that last 4 astronauts. There's some other things. So she's really good friends with Sean and April as well. And that's when I went to DC. So after that, I flew up to DC, and there was in that big snowstorm, and just walked around the whole lot. I was up in DuPont Circle. That's where I stayed, a hotel there in DuPont Circle. So I was actually doing live snow surf reports in the DuPont Circle thing there, the rotunda that's there. All those homeless guys that were there the night before disappeared. Hell know where they went because it was freezing that day. And then I just walked and walked through past the White House, National Monument, up the canal, that thing there, up to Abe Lincoln, washed the slurry of the snow away for the I Have a Dream. Where
I think that's where Brian hangs out down there, I think.
Yeah, he might have been one of the bums drinking the Sterno. Well, it's undercover with his film crew.
But I went fishing with Sean, and what do they call them? Sand fleas? The things.
Sand fleas.
But, wow, we don't have them. We don't have them, so that was cool. Yeah, and
they call them no-see-ums, right, Raz? They're all over the beaches in Florida. Those things are pain in the butt.
No-see-ums are the little tiny ones that bite you. He's talking about sand fleas you dig up on the beach to use for bait.
Yeah, they're like
pompano and snook and everything on them.
That's it. Yeah. So I loved it. And Sean was a skipper for some little tours that he was doing through the river there and out on the main Banana River. That's who he's doing before he's now with the Victory thing. Right. And so I got and hitched a ride with him and did that with him.
So you got to see some of old Florida.
Mate, I love that place.
See some alligators and stuff.
No, I never saw any of them. No, I never saw that, but some wildlife, but no alligators. But
any manatees?
Yes, out the back of Derek's house, they have a little inlet that comes off the Banana River, and there's a little inlet that goes in there, and it's like a little lagoon, and you get that, what's that, phosphorescence? The stuff that glows when you hit it at night. In the
glow
water.
Sticks.
No.
Actually, like,
hey, I was thinking about going to a rave.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, we're paddling and it just it all lights up and it's cool. And there's a couple of manatees that get in there because you can see the air bubbles where they are and eating all the grass inside there. But yeah, top spot. It's great people, good craft beer, and I love a beer, and. Yeah, I love it, and I'll be going back as soon as this COVID thing goes. And because us Australians, we're actually barred from leaving anywhere across overseas right now. And we were supposed to be in Europe this last October for 4 weeks, but that was cancelled. We have it tentatively booked for next October. That's to see, but they're saying if you don't get the jab with the vaccine, you won't be able to
let you fly.
Go on some of the airlines at this point.
Yeah,
so we'll see what happens and know how that all pans out. Yeah.
I think that's going to be the new routine, man. We're all going to have our shot, when we travel now. They're doing that in Hawaii now. They're starting it where you can't come here. They just talked about that last night on the news about you can't come here unless you get your vaccine pretty soon, and it's pretty crazy.
Wow. How do you guys feel about getting that vaccine? Are you worried at all?
Freaked out from it, yeah.
Well, they've rushed it, but sometimes when you're under pressure, some things can, some are saying it's 90%, 95%. We all want 100%, but there's never ever going to be 100%.
Yeah.
So, with all the trials and so forth, it'd be interesting to see if we can read some of the facts before they get approved by your FDA, for example, and I do get the flu shot. Now I'm 51, so I'm pretty much I'm as old as Raz. And short, we're 69. That's when I was born.
Yeah. I'm 67, but almost 68.
I'm right behind you guys. I ain't that far back.
Yeah. So the last 3 years I've had the flu shot, and they're always changing the flu shot to make it a better strain, but people are still falling ill and drop off from the flu, so it's just one of those things. Just it's hard, like you got all the anti-vaxxers and so forth, and I don't want to get too political, but I think it's just going to come back to general hygiene, sanitation, and just back to basic rules with a few extra things coming in. I think there's going to be a lot of that temperature checks where they've got them in an airport in the United Arab Emirates. I think it's Dubai, and you'll walk through there, and they'll just screen you as you're coming through. You won't even know what's going on, and they'll just.
I wish we had that old picture of Tim eating the rocks back when we were kids.
I got one of these
coming down.
Oh, you got a temperature checker, dude? Is that how people come over and visit you?
No, because I go and I do video production. So I go out and I go on shoots. Even in the midst of this whole thing, we have a shoot scheduled. We had to shoot a whole, 10 videos.
Shoot a hole?
No, I mean, shoot a hole. We had to shoot a hole. I got a hole in my pocket.
Awesome.
I got to shoot it.
Well, I'm glad that thing you don't have to stick up your hole like the skinny little thermometers that they used to have.
Well, tell me about it.
They're having the rectal ones next. Bend over. I got to see if you got the COVID.
I tried that a couple of times. It works probably the third or second time, but after that, forget it. They'll just say no.
Took a couple times before you realized it.
So you have to screen yourself first, or are you doing that to people around you when you're doing your show or filming that or producing some videoing?
So we have a whole slew of procedures. So we have to create a release form that has a COVID questionnaire. People have to fill out the COVID questionnaire. It says, have you been anywhere in the past 14 days? Have you been exposed? How do you feel? Blah, blah, blah. Then they come on site and I take their temperature, and then they have to sign the document again. They have to redo it again and fill it out and sign it right there. And we have to, the crew, everybody has to do this. And it's just crazy, man. Sometimes I'm subjected to groups of people, and I got to wear my mask for like 8 hours straight, and I got like my nose is raw.
Pulling on your ears are all sore and shit.
Oh yeah, man, I got like freaking Dumbo ears now. They're just
Everybody's
constantly
gonna have big ears after all this.
I look like a gremlin.
Hey, Spinksy.
Yeah.
You know the difference between a French kiss and an Australian kiss?
No.
An Australian kiss is just like a French kiss, but it's down under. That's my only Australian joke I got. Sorry.
I love it.
I'll be here all week. Don't worry.
All right, dad jokes now.
I love it.
It was funny earlier when I told it. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
I might not have said it right. I don't know.
It's from down under.
We're trying it out. It's a new format.
We have those sort of. We have a lot of regulations in place where you have to say where you've been, etc. We had a lot of shutdowns. Our Queensland border will only open up permanently, or now, to New South Wales because they've had for like 3 weeks no COVID cases, etc. One state, Victoria, further south, had extreme lockdowns. You weren't allowed to go like more than 2 kilometers from your house. You couldn't work unless you're an essential worker. You couldn't go out and walk your dog. They're on a heavy. That was like a second wave, and they believe that the only way to do it is contain it and keep you there and don't let anyone out. And some people are against it, some people are for it. We're a little bit lucky up here in Queensland because our premier, which is like a governor compared to someone runs your state in the States, she locked down everyone and didn't let anyone in just so we wouldn't get any of the virus into our state. We did have those cases, but look, overall, I think there's only been not even 30 deaths in Australia to COVID.
Wow.
Maybe. It could be more, could be less. But a lot of people that had COVID were tested with it. But as I was mentioning to you earlier before we started the show, we're pretty much Australia's an island, and we're segregated away from a lot of the world, which is pretty much that northern hemisphere. And when your president did the lockdown from China and Europe, we followed suit within 24, 48 hours. So all those people that then were coming in, because they were already coming in, they were subject to 14 days quarantine in a hotel. Now, the government paid that. Each state government paid that up until a certain point. If you were still coming in overseas, then you had to self-isolate in that hotel at your own cost. So it wasn't cheap. And so now, we still got all the stickers on the floor. Like I work in a liquor store as part-time, 30 hours a week. That's my other bread and butter. And I help run that with the manager, and that's only just around the corner. But we have all these little stickers on the floor for social distancing. But we make it fun. There's like a little surfboard, stand down here, pretend you're surfing COVID style with a little surfboard on the sticker. So we have that there, and we have our screens around the cash registers and stuff, but then there's a big barrier in between, so what's that going to do? Yeah, it's funny, but we have all that sort of measures still in place, and I think some of that's going to be here to stay for quite a while, to be quite honest.
You got less people in the surf breaks too, right?
No,
only locals only, right?
No, yeah, well, yeah. at the start, it was pretty good. Hey, mate, you got to stay 6 feet away, But you have a look at a place like Snapper Rocks down on the Gold Coast, when that's pumping, you pretty much can walk over everyone across the water. Everyone's still blowing their nose in the water, and there's, so who knows?
Social distance till it comes to surfing, and there's 100 people out, and 200, I know that.
We don't want to tell everybody.
I sort of like it in a way because I like being alone sometimes. So that because down here I am is the cave. Everyone else is upstairs. So I already had social distancing in place before the flu come through. So
right. The same way.
That's great.
Yeah, that's how we are at the beach. We're like, nobody's getting within 6 feet of us anyway. I mean,
yeah.
You know, I heard there was a run on toilet paper. Have you guys heard that? All the stores around here, they had a second run, and they're all cleaned out now.
Yeah, down here in Florida as well. Yeah.
Everybody's freaking out again. Yeah.
Apparently, they think they might have to wipe their butt a lot if they get COVID again.
Well, that was the first thing that happened.
Not really sure.
Yeah, my wife and I and my son, we were on a South Pacific cruise in the last week of the school holiday. So pretty much the last week of December of this year. And I was hearing on the news, the China flu, the COVID. And as soon as we got home, within about 3 weeks, that was it, done, shut down, the whole kit and caboodle. And everyone was panic buying. And I couldn't believe it. The number one item was toilet paper. You couldn't get anything to wipe your butt for ages. There was nothing. Even the paper towels were gone. It was like, wow, this is insane. And like no one cared about the food. It was toilet paper. And then there was guys actually selling it on eBay and local like Facebook shop things like and doubling, tripling the price. It's like, really?
Well, I know
and
Brian.
So there was a bit of that panic buying and so forth. It's like, well, like honestly, we bought a couple of the 24 packs, but there's only 3 of us, and it's not like on the toilet 24/7. But that was insane.
Brian's dad put some bidets in at his house.
Cool.
And before my dad passed, me and him were talking about, have you ever used a bidet? And I was like, no. And me and my dad are like, does it have like adjusters where you can increase the force in case it might have ate something a little stickier than that's for? Then my dad are like, yeah, you're out there with a fire hose in the backyard, just sorry, sir, we don't have any toilet paper.
Yeah,
that's funny.
So I can't believe because there was fighting in the aisles. People were there was a lot of comedy skits on TV as well that come along, and whereas they be pushing their shopping trolley cart or whatever you want to call it, and they see that one roll left on the shelf, and they'd be running and diving and pushing everyone away just to grab that. So to make light of the situation, there was some good comedy that has come out of it as well. I think it's been like it's a wake up call for the world, the COVID. But let's move on to something else.
I think this year Black Friday they'll be going for the toilet paper. I don't know if you guys have Black Friday in Australia, but Thanksgiving is Thursday. I don't know if you guys had any Australian brush turkey or anything, but of course it's our Thanksgiving, so you guys probably don't celebrate anything. I don't know.
A lot of people. I got a good friend. He's from California, Joshua. He lives around the corner, so they celebrate. They celebrate it all the time. Obviously, it's a big thing for him. So he invites his wife's family, the Australian, to their thing. But Black Friday sales, the last few years, they've filtered in, and we're just taking that Americanized. It's just another reason to go shopping. And sell stuff, right. and that's filtered here. Halloween's getting bigger even now around here, and that's again another thing filtered. But Christmas the same. But isn't there? Yeah, the Black Friday. So my daughter, she's my stepdaughter, but my daughter,
right.
Ashley, she's already posting up on her Instagram feed, and it's only Wednesday. Already gone in early for the Black Friday sales and dressing up our grandson Oliver in what he's in the new gear that he's got. So, they're the younger generation, so they're into it. But us old school, we just another day to go shopping.
Just another reason to spend money.
Yeah.
I'm not getting anywhere near all those crowds. There ain't no way.
No. Yeah, people fighting over TVs and stuff like that, and over there you guys got guns, so it's a little bit more. Yeah.
It's all
we don't have guns here.
It's all a game, man. I used to work at Sears in another lifetime, and So we would have friends and family night at Sears. And they would literally, I would look like 2 weeks before friends and family night. I would look at in the electronics department, and there's a TV, and it's like $150. And then I'd be like, oh, I'm going to wait for friends and family night. And then I go on friends and family night, and they're like, it's $200, but for you tonight, it's $150. And I'm like, oh man, what a scam. It's the same price.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Hey.
So Tim, you're in Hawaii. You said you're in Honolulu there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Honolulu. Yeah. Been here for a long time now. I moved here back in the day to the Big Island. Lived there for 5 years. Then I moved to Honolulu, but I've been here for about 25 years. I don't know how many years now. I lost track. But
so it's been quiet now with no one able to visit there, or?
Well, this island's busy anyway, right? With just the people that live here. But yeah, it's a lot less traffic, and I've kind of enjoyed that because this place is hustle bustle, So it's kind of been nice. It's different. Not as many people surfing, only locals. We don't have a lot of people traveling here yet. But they just announced that they're going to start the 2021 WSL tour this year. They're going to start at Pipe for the Pipe Masters. So that's cool. Yeah. I'm excited for that.
I think it's the 8th of December they start.
Yeah, and they're going to have a different, places on the tour now. So that's kind of exciting. They're going to have different locations, and I'm looking forward to getting it back on.
It's, speaking of the tour, and me being from the Sunshine Coast, we've had some fantastic surfers come out of this region and really stamp their mark. We've had Pipeline Masters in Julian Wilson, Gary Elkerton, Pipeline Master, Triple Crown Master, Gary Elkerton. I think Julian's won Triple Crown too. I know Parko has. And Parko was originally from my town, Sunshine Coast, but then he moved to the Gold Coast, obviously, to follow his sponsors and better waves and stuff. And that's when he got in with Dingo and Mick Fanning before he hit the world tour. But then you've got two young girls, Isabella Nichols, and who makes her debut on the women's tour this year, and Keely Andrew. She's back again. And I think the girls will be either in Sunset or Honolulu Bay for their part of the start of the tour.
The Honolulu Bay starts up, I think, next week or something. Yeah, they score with that. They get to surf that bay to themselves. That's such a cool contest. Mad. I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys have had so many good surfers come out of your country, and the other day you mentioned Kong, and I was like, Kong? I hadn't heard that name since back in the day, when we used to watch contests. And when you told me Gary Elkerton, I was like, wow, it brought back a lot of memories, him and Barton Lynch and all those legends,
Oh, yeah, that was our heroes growing up.
Yeah.
Kong was kind of like a wild man, wasn't he? Acro kind of guy.
Yeah, he's from the Sunshine Coast, and he took... Like he's 5 years older than I am, and in fact, we share the same birthday, the 21st of August. It's just the days 5 years apart. Yeah, and growing up and watching all those guys surf, and to all of us here locals, like he's a great friend. He only lives just around the corner at the moment, and he took the world by storm under Rabbit Bartholomew and on the Quicksilver. Hit Hawaii with Chappie Jennings, a little goofy footer at the day, and then it's a lot of those guys. He looked up to all those idols, Mark Richards, Tom Carroll, and all that. Barton's another friend of mine. Where was
Occhi from?
Occhi's from Cronulla in New South Wales.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, the Raging Bull, they used to call him.
I just got one of his boards, man. I love it. I got the Bullseye model. It's an Occhi board. I love it, dude. It's
Rusty?
No, it's JS.
JS?
It's got a little rounded pin on it. It's a great board, man. I love it. It's built for like smaller in between, not too big, but he has the Raging Bull, which is his step up board. But I got one of his smaller wave boards, but I love it, man. It's incredible. JS boards are unreal.
I've surfed Diamond Head, and it was two guys out, and it was a bit of a mission getting down that cliff thing. But wow, it was really, really good. And I surfed Alamoana.
Was it Bowls?
Bowls?
Yeah, Bowls.
But on this side, going back towards China's and that, there's these little, is it called Kaisers?
Yeah, you got rock piles. You go over a little bit, and you got like Kaiser Bowls. He's down.
I just paddled out on my own, and there's two guys out, and it's pumping, and it was so good. It was like, wow, I went, wow, this is really, really nice. And then you just paddle back on the beach, and then bang, you're in the hustle and bustle. Because I was staying at, I don't think it's there anymore. It was the Holiday Inn, and there used to be a craft.
Yeah, it's right by Hilton Hawaiian Village over there where I used to work.
Yeah, it's on a corner, and there was a Jimmy Buffett's thing or something in there, but they closed it down, and then they were putting in a craft beer or Honolulu beer or something like that. I forget.
Maui Brewing Company, maybe. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's it. Yeah, because they inspired me with the, I don't know if you can see it, how do we do that?
You got a little tap?
The little turtle there. Yeah.
Oh, you got a
Honu.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
A little souvenir.
Yeah, souvenir. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the old ABC coffee mugs.
So
That's
Spinksy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I saw my brother sent me some stuff last night, and it said you lived in Thailand and Malaysia and a few other cool places over there in Asia. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, or what was your favorite part? Like Thailand, I've always wondered how that is.
Yeah, well, it started off, I was 18 and I was just trying to find myself, and I joined this company, American company, and they traveled to Australia, and they were just direct selling a cleaning detergent, and it was a multi-purpose product that you could just really quick clean big industrial machinery to carpet, depending on the mixture of water. In fact, it come from Orlando, Florida, and I
think I probably sold that too.
There still, yeah, from Orlando, Florida. And so that was our selling pitch, and we traveled Australia. And then after that, I had a car accident, and I lost a mate when we were traveling in vans. So I got a couple of nice scars there from that. Yeah. I left 6 months, and then I caught up with the guys that was in Thailand. And back then there was no email or nothing. You just wrote pen letters. Remember pen letters? Right. So we wrote a letter, and he said, yeah. And he sent one back, and he says, yeah, you got your passport? And I said, yeah, done. Flew to Sydney, was there for a week with the crew there, and then Bangkok. I got to Bangkok about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I rolled up, got through customs, and got in the car, and had a big fat joint. Welcome to Bangkok.
Welcome to Bangkok.
Awesome. 22 years old, and welcome to Bangkok. Okay, this is going to be wild. I can see now. That night, we went down to a main. It was like all the strip bars and all the whatnot goes on down there. Mm-hmm. Walking in, and there's a bloke from the Sunshine Coast who was in a band called the Wendells, Aussie, Mark Osborne. He's walking out of one, and I'm walking in. Of all places around the world, didn't even know he's in Thailand. It was fuck. Walked in there, ping pong blew my mind. I had no idea. It's like, holy shit, this is radical, this place. So anyway, short story short, we traveled through Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, marketing this product, and never went to any college, learnt the language, just a word a day, and great part of the world. It's fantastic. Wow. And there's surf in Thailand, believe it or not. You can surf in Thailand, you can surf on the east coast of Malaysia as well. There's great surfing setups. There's surf schools, there's surf resorts there, and a lovely part of the world. Good food, good beer, and back then there was some crazy, great women.
and super cheap too, right? Everything's dirt cheap, right?
Yeah, it was. But I was earning. We were selling the product in US dollars and converting it to there. So our commissions were pretty good. But look, we weren't saving. We were just going out there working Monday to Friday. We had a quota system. The more you got your quota, by lunchtime, you had the rest of the day off. So that was the sort of bonus thing. And then you just go and spend the money at the bars.
That's awesome. How far of a flight is it to Thailand from Australia?
From Brisbane to Bangkok, it's about a 10-hour direct flight. It's 8 hours to Singapore, so 9.5 hours, direct, one stop. Okay. Yeah, to get to Florida though, holy shit, that's a long way, man. So you can go various ways depending on the airlines. The first time we went Brisbane to Auckland, New Zealand, that's a 4-hour trip or 3-hour trip about 4-hour trip on its own. We waited there a few hours in transit, and then we flew, I think it was 14 hours or 12.5 to 14 hours from Auckland to Houston, and then Houston to Orlando, and then straight into a hire car and drove that 91, is it? 90 or 91?
95.
95, yeah, straight to 95. Parko Beach. I like that road because it's just dead straight. You don't have to turn to anywhere, you know.
Well, you flew into Miami?
No, flew into
Orlando?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You probably would have taken 528 over to Parko Beach.
Yeah, I think that's it. 528. Couple of toll. Yeah, the B line. That's it.
B-line,
there's a couple of tolls along the way. So you got the shrapnel and throw it in. But then the next way I went Brisbane to LA. That's like 13 hours direct, and then on a flight from LA to Orlando, that's like 6.5, 7 hours, and that's the same as going from Brisbane to Bali. A long way to get to that east coast, and you're pretty well stuffed. It's a long way, but and it's the same for you guys to come back down to here. But yeah, I love Southeast Asia. I go to Bali routinely when we can. I spent my 50th there last August. That was a picture that you put up early. We were sitting around. There was my wife, Kobe, and I with the local Balinese. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So that was my 50th. Yeah, that's me surfing our local break on the North Shore. No, that's here, home, Sunshine Coast. That's Sean and I. We're standing on one of those platforms that they built so you can see the race and the whole track. La Quinta Inn in Parko Beach. That was our first trip. That's where they had the little space and where all the astronauts started, all the I Dream of Genie sort of little things go down. And that was a great time. So that's our hot passes, hanging around and. Yeah,
bringing up Bali. I've been there twice, and I went in like '99, and before it really blew up, and I got a chance to meet some really cool Australians, man. You guys always have that beach and that good spirit, love surfing and beach life, and I've always had a good relationship with Australian guys and stuff. Good fun.
Yeah, and I think that's why I like Florida too a lot too, because it reminds me of my state, a little laid back. Obviously, it's a lot busier over there, but it just reminds me of the same. Being on the East Coast too, sunrise the same, and I sort of really relate there. I don't really care for the California scene too much, a little bit too liberal for me, you could say. It's still great, and there's some great surf towns. I've got a great mate there, Mike McIntyre, that lives in Hermosa Beach, and he's been a photographer for a very long time. He's an older bloke, he's in his 70s, and I visited him when I flew back last February, and he showed me the town and a local museum where bands that I followed, like Black Flag, originated, Henry Rollins, and I like that sort of punk metal music. And I was really stoked. And it was really funny because up in the rafters, the ceiling, I seen a board. It was a paddle board for surf life saving, because that's really big down here. And they had one of the paddle boards up there. And it was from our hometown, the Hayden Surf Club. Had the old phone number before they put the new digits in front, because obviously the population got bigger, so they had a couple of digits for the phone number. I thought, wow, this is great. This is from my hometown, and that's here in Hermosa Beach.
Yeah, small world sometimes.
Small world. I love that.
Just like you said, you ran into that one guy and stuff like that. It's funny how stuff like that works.
Yeah, and I love that rocket thing, that Cape Canaveral, and it's good to see that all going. And Sean's told me so many stories. Every day we just see that, and the stories he told me with him and his mates, that they just swimming around the creeks and the rivers, and that's what we did here too. The same sort of thing. We come from that same sort of that stock and that same environment, family bring up. We're just on opposite sides of the world, and that's why Sean and I really relate to each other very well. We've got various mutual friends, and I love that side of the country. You know, I said to him, I'd buy a house over there. You know, you're going to win the lotto first, just to have something, you know, just to go back to, and just I like it. That's great. Right. But, that's another story for another time.
Yeah, man, it's been great having you on today, man. I appreciate you taking the time and hanging out with us. And what were you going to say, Brian?
Oh, I was just going to ask him. I was going to say, if there was any place that you haven't surfed in the world that you really would want to surf, one place, what would it be that you've been dying to go to before it's all over?
Bucket list.
Oh, can I name 3?
No, you got to pick one, man. You got to pick the top.
Honolulu Bay. That's definitely on the
Are
list.
you regular or goofy foot?
Regular foot.
Oh, you'd love it. Front side. That thing.
That's why I like that right-hand point. And I've never done a boat trip to the islands like Mentawais and all that. I've never, ever done it. And before I get into riding a longboard and can't surf a shortboard anymore, not that I do have a longboard when it's smaller, but on a repetitive thing, definitely a boat trip around those Indonesian islands. And something out of the ordinary would be those Great Lakes. Just for something different. You got the Great Lakes, like Michigan and all of that. That would be some gnarly shit. 10 mil wetsuits.
Yeah, you better wear that 10 mil, exactly.
It's like, wow, you know. And that would be really different. So that would be the 3 on the bucket list.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
There you go.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming on, man.
Oh, yeah.
Pardon?
Thanks for coming on. I think this would be a cool show, man. People, from the mainland, they don't know anything about Australia, so you kind of opened our eyes a little bit to what's going on down under.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Time.
So where can people find your surf report?
Okay, so they can go to surfline.com, hit the forecast region for the Sunshine Coast, and that will take in there. They can also go to coastalwatch.com and get the same report because they're merged together as one. And you can look me up on Facebook, which is a worldwide social network, and you tune into Spinksy Sunshine Coast Surf Report Facebook page there. I do a live Facebook page on video, so that gets put up there every morning. Put up another bunch of stuff in there with sponsors and just to keep it there. But yeah, Spinksy on Instagram. I got in there first. I'm the only Spinksy, which is great. And yeah, so they're the socials, and yeah, look me up. And right, any guys want to come down here and want to know anything about Australia, yeah, always shoot me a question. I'm always happy to help and show you around, have a good time, and then yeah, until then.
Right.
Awesome.
Thanks for stopping by. Coast is worldwide.
Yeah, well, it's been a great show. It's been great having you. And till next time, folks, this is signing out. Matt Coast to Coast.
All right.